NBA. What does Bart Lundy do? He puts together a team that goes 21-10 and 14-6 in the league and gets the 2 seed.
20 official visits to rebuild this roster and an entirely new staff. And this guy has put it together quick.
And off the opening tip, quickly down the floor goes Drew Lauder, and that's a loud start for the Vikings.
Drew Lauder was so good coming down the stretch in their quarterfinal victory. They snatched victory from the jaws of defeat against Robert Morris.
So now first possession for the Milwaukee Panthers, and in the corner it's Elijah Jamison for 3. The miss, Ahmad Rand was going for the rebound, but he is fouled underneath the basket. And it's a foul on Drew Lauder, his first. New crew for the second game, our officials DJ Carstensen, Courtney Green, and Michael Kitts.
Great officiating crew tonight for the Horizon League. What a great tournament.
So much fun being here in Indy. BJ Freeman the miss on the 3. And now quickly down the floor come the Vikings, and the layup good for Tay Williams. And it's 4-0 just like that.
Yeah, Tay Williams, an explosive athlete. We saw that athleticism on display right there. What a catch and finish.
And our starting lineups presented by Barbasol, and you see the Milwaukee starting lineup with Jamison, Freeman, Kentrell, Pullian, Ahmad Rand, and Jalen Johnson getting the second straight start.
Keep an eye on Ahmad Rand, number 23 from Milwaukee. Dynamic talent. Went to Memphis, went to Oregon State. Found his basketball game right here in Milwaukee.
Drew Lauder picking up 2 quick fouls in the first minute of this game, which is definitely significant for Cleveland State. But now off the turnover, here come the Vikings down the floor. Williams trying to rise up but has that one swatted away, and then Deontay Johnson grabbed it, but a foul called against the Panthers.
Attack to the rim for Tay Williams, rejected inside by Ahmad Rand. Boy, does he get up quick. He is a special athlete.
Horizon League Defensive Player of the Year was Ahmad Rand, the Oregon State transfer. One of the major impact players for this Milwaukee team. It's a group that gets a lot of shot blocks. They are a team that dunks the ball a ton. Very athletic group under first-year coach Bart Lundy. And Rand was going for the block there, but it's goaltend instead, and the basket will count.
Boy, Rand has such good anticipation. Yep, that's the right call for sure, as you see the ball going down on the arc right in front of the rim. But how quickly he jumps, and he has such good anticipation at the right angles to be a shot blocker.
So a 6-0 start for the Vikings of Cleveland State. And a turnover. Rand lost the handle. Yael Hill down the floor, lays it in.
Well, Yael Hill just really used his body well to shield the defender.
And now Deontay Johnson knocks that one away, and Tay Williams racing down the floor. Behind the back feet to Tristan and Aruna, and a timeout called by Bart Lundy. Cleveland State has raced out to a 10-0 lead. 30-second timeout here in Indy.
Game on. Game on. Game on.
Williams over the head to Tristan and Aruna. What a play by Tay Williams as he just, look how he draws the defender first. He brings the one defender from the left-hand side of the floor that allows Aruna to go right to the rim.
And a 10-0 start for Cleveland State, so Bart Lundy wanted to stop some of the momentum. Milwaukee looking for its first bucket and finally gets it as Jalen Johnson lays it in.
Well, what a good calming timeout by Bart Lundy, just to get his troops just kind of relaxed a little bit. Executing. Jalen Johnson inside.
Similar to the game that we had earlier tonight. This is a Milwaukee team that's in uncharted waters, at least with this roster. But Cleveland State has a few guys that have been part of the success of the program over the last few years. And to Danielle Robinson's credit, he was able to keep 4 key players on this roster to help him transition this team forward, and it's one of the reasons why they earned the 3rd seed in the Horizon League and find themselves in the semis again.
Yeah, those 4 players were really selfless.
One of those guys is Deshaun Parker, who D-Rob calls his coach on the floor, who picks up the foul there. Deshaun Parker, Yael Hill, Cole Middleton, Jason Woodrich. Deontay Johnson, though, really the kind of the linchpin guy, because Deontay Johnson has played for 3 coaches in his 5 years at Cleveland State. He could have had opportunities elsewhere like some of these other guys. Loves Cleveland, loves being part of the Cleveland State program, considers it like his second home, the senior from Detroit. So when he decided to stay, Deshaun Parker decided to stay, Yael Hill started to stay. They're starting to build something there, and then Enaruna coming in with D-Rob, and you see this Cleveland State outfit, which is out to a great start tonight.
You know, Jordan, having taken over 3 different college basketball programs, you've got to have anchors. You got to have a couple guys that stick with you and believe in you, and that's exactly what Coach Robinson did. Recruited those guys, they believe in him, he believes in them.
Deshaun Parker has that one tipped away, and now B.J. Freeman racing down the floor. Kicks to the corner, open 3, Elijah Jamison knocks it down.
Yeah, Jamison has done such a good job at the point guard. In this Milwaukee team, he's only a freshman, and sometimes freshmen, they hit the freshman wall. Elijah Jamison has done anything but that. He just keeps rising.
And now Tay Williams stops and pops and hits the jumper. Long 2 for Tay Williams. What a start that he's off to. 6 points here in the early going.
Tay Williams has some glide to his game.
He does. Danielle Robinson saying, explosive athlete. You're going to see that on display tonight.
Yeah, really smooth.
Now Jamison pulls up for a 3 over Enaruna. That won't go. The rebound to Deontay Spider Johnson. And down the floor goes Williams again, who puts it high off the window.
Tay Williams had 30 points, 14 rebounds in the win over Green Bay earlier this year, and 21-11 in the win over Milwaukee earlier this season.
Saying he rises to the occasion. Now Freeman into the post. Rand trying to get it down low for Johnson. Knocked out of bounds, and it brings us to a timeout on the floor.
Tay Williams started his career at Tennessee Tech, where Steve Payne, the assistant, was the head coach. Man, is he paying dividends right now for Cleveland State.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Barbasol Shaving Cream, America's leader for a close, comfortable shave. Better by Barbasol.
Game on. Game on.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
Game on. Game on. tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
With the Venture X card from Capital One, you earn 2 times miles on every purchase.
The noise canceling.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
This is what you dream of.
Championship Saturday begins at 6, then continues Sunday on ESPN.
What a start for the Cleveland State Vikings tonight. Up 14-5 here early. And this is a team that won 20 games. They won 5 of their last 6. They needed overtime to beat Robert Morris. They were losing by 7 in the final 2 minutes of that game. But able to come back and win over the Colonials. Danielle Robinson, a guy that has been an assistant coach for 21 seasons, finally gets his opportunity as a head coach, and you see how prepared he was to do it. Brought Tristan Enaruna in, a guy that didn't get as much of an opportunity at Iowa State and now has become one of his linchpin players. But when you talk to Coach Robinson, we talk to a lot of coaches. This is one of the most impressive coaches I've gotten an opportunity to chat with, and you just love that he's gotten this opportunity and he's making the most of it.
Yeah, no ego. He embraced Dennis Gates. He embraced the recent success of Cleveland State. He brought in a Steve Payne, the former head coach at Tennessee Tech. Jermaine Johnson has been a longtime assistant coach, worked for Charlie Coles at Miami, among other great legendary coaches. He put together as good a staff as anybody in the country in short order.
And he was able to do it, and as we said, keep some of his key players from last year. Dennis Gates did take Demoy Hodge, Trey Gamillion to Mizzou, but to be able to keep 4 key players from last year's roster to build with this year shows the impact that Danielle Robinson has already had on this Cleveland State program.
But obviously Gates took the best players. And these guys, I think they feel a little bit disrespected, and they play with a chip on their shoulder. And that's the way you should approach it.
Wants his team to be the toughest team in the Horizon League. He's been saying that all year. Certainly have seen that as a jump ball is called.
You know, the other thing too, Jordan, that's so impressive about this tournament, the top 4 seeds are all in the semifinals. All these teams have won 20 games or more. And at the mid-major level, 20 games is a huge accomplishment during the regular season. I mean, you go and you play those bye games and you get the dog crap beat out of you about half the time in those deals, and you got to find a way to be psychologically tough. This is a tough league.
It is, and that's a backcourt violation and a turnover to Cleveland State. Now, you and I have been connected to this league for a long time, and when you look at the depth of the Horizon League this year, there were 2 teams at the bottom that really struggled. Apart from them, and Purdue-Fort Wayne in this tournament was the 9th seed. They were picked to finish atop the league this year. It just shows you how deep this league was.
But yet, even with that parity, the top 4 teams are in this championship round, the semifinals, and all of them have won 20 games. Quite an accomplishment by the league.
Tay Williams spins through 2 defenders.
A whirling dervish to the rim, Tay Williams.
And he's got 10 points. He alone is doubling up the Panthers. Now a step back retry for Markeith Browning. That's way off target. Rebounded underneath and knocked away by Cleveland State. Williams has got it. Across to Parker to lay it in.
Tay Williams is just so dynamic, so much fun to watch. He glides through the game. He's so graceful. Just watch number 1 in black. He is fun to watch.
B.J. Freeman for 3 over Williams. That won't go. Rebound, Enaruna.
Williams wants it back.
Parker finding Enaruna. And Bart Lundy's going to need another timeout. It's 20-5. A 10-0 run over the last 3:20 for the Cleveland State Vikings.
Tay Williams has come out on fire, the 6'7" junior from Chicago. This kid came out the very first possession, decided, I'm putting my stamp on this game. I wear number 1 for a reason, because I am the go-to guy for Cleveland State. A dominating first 7-minute performance by Tay Williams. Wow.
A tremendous start for Tay Williams, who's now got 10 points on 5 of 8 shooting and 2 rebounds and 2 assists in just the first 7 minutes of this game. Tay Williams averages 11 points per game and just under 6 rebounds. He has certainly been one of the high-impact players for Cleveland State. But interestingly, similar to the first game, if you were to look at these two teams and say, what's their identity? You'd say Milwaukee's identity is offense and Cleveland State's is defense. And so far, we've seen an offensive clinic from Cleveland State.
Well, and the reason why is because they've gotten deflections and steals and gotten out in the open court. And your offense always runs better when there's no defense behind you.
That's right. There was a kick ball, so an inbound coming on our side here. As Markeith Browning, the redshirt sophomore from Ypsilanti. He missed a lot of last year, but has had more opportunity this season for Bartlendi. Now in the corner, here's Jamison, a 3, no, and the rebound, and Aruna.
Cleveland State's getting layups, and Milwaukee's getting contested threes. And when you get layups, the basket gets bigger. I don't know how it happens physically, but the basket gets bigger.
It does. And Aruna in the post against a double. Spins into the lane. That one off target, out of bounds. It'll be Milwaukee basketball.
Excellent interior defense inside by Milwaukee. And Aruna was a guy that really caught my eye in the quarterfinals. I mean, he led this team back from the dead, basically.
Jamison. Johnson open on the elbow. Misses that jumper.
See how they challenged him to take that shot? There's a reason for that. They don't believe Johnson can make that shot. Not consistently.
Johnson, a 52% shooter this year, but this is also a Milwaukee team that had a lot of dunks this year. And that 3 off target, and now a push called on Johnson, and it brings us to a timeout.
Tristan and Aruna. He loves the moment. What a great knife cut to the rim.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
Targets are on site.
It's all here, as we discussed.
Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go.
Is going on tonight as well, and right now St. Mary's is taking on BYU live on ESPN, and after that game, or after our game on ESPN2, Gonzaga and San Francisco set to start at 11:30 Eastern. So West Coast Conference tournament, that's always a fun one to watch as well. But I have to admit, I love being here at the Horizon League tournament.
Too.
So much fun being here.
But BYU, their head coach is Mark Pope. I recruited him out of high school. I didn't get him, but I recruited him out of high school.
So what was that like?
Was at Washington State, great guy. He ended up actually marrying Leanne Archibald. Lynn Archibald was my first boss at Idaho State. That's his daughter. Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. Love Mark Pope. Love that family. I'm rooting for them. I can do that now.
You can. And underneath the bucket and the foul for Jalen Johnson. That's where he's going to get a lot of his points. The foul against Enaruna and an opportunity for a three-point play for the Panthers who need it.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson needs to be that physical presence inside. They need deposits inside right now. And Jalen Johnson, that guy, catches it and finishes it. Keep it simple.
Jalen Johnson, an 80% free throw shooter, so he's done a very nice job when he gets to the line and knocks it down. Tay Williams got a couple of minutes of rest, but he is off to an outstanding start for the Vikings of Cleveland State.
And Bart Lundy going some full court pressure. He's trying to create some energy from his team.
Williams finding Enaruna. No, but he's fouled.
That's exactly what you do when you see full court pressure. Attack to score. Don't attack to break it, attack to score. When the Vikings saw that, Cleveland State turned it into just a foot race down the floor.
They're getting so many opportunities in transition here early on. Enaruna, 67% free throw shooter, knocks that one down. Such an important piece this year and named first team All-Horizon League. And when Daniel Robinson took over Cleveland State, getting Enaruna to come with them to get an elevated opportunity has paid great dividends for both coach and player.
And he only averaged 4 points a game at Iowa State, but he's found his game and his confidence here.
Markeith Browning. Johnson trying to spin in the lane and scores over Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, that's why he shoots 52%. He's really good around the basket. I like his footwork.
So Drew Lauder, who picked up those 2 fouls in the first minute, now back on the floor after sitting for a little while for Coach Robinson.
Yeah, Daniel Robinson can roll the dice a little bit here and try to get some minutes out of Crowder.
And now Johnson turns around and lays it in.
Now I know why they call him Spider. Seems like he has multiple arms. Well, the appendages for people right now.
And he uses those appendages well. There's a bucket and a foul for Jalen Johnson. So he'll have another opportunity at a three-point play.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson, one of these guys that really understands how to step to the open space on the floor. You know, a lot of big guys just stand and wait instead of moving to an open spot. He does a nice job of that.
Well, now Tristan Enaruna's picked up his second foul. So Lauder and Enaruna with 2 fouls apiece. And now, even though Cleveland State's doubling up Milwaukee, this is something to watch.
Yeah, Enaruna is the guy that really is a difference maker for this team. And now he's going to sit for a while with 2 fouls.
Johnson at the free throw line connects. And Jalen Johnson off to quite the strong start himself. 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting in the first just under 10 minutes of this game.
Well, Drew Lauder is certainly a guy that can pass it, score it, run the offense, 55 in black. Without Enaruna, they're going to need some guys looking for shots. Lauder is one of those guys. Great pass inside.
Oh, Parker finding Johnson for the flush and a foul. You mentioned those long arms. You saw him right there.
Inside, the defensive web can't take away that pass, and Spider takes it home. Man, does he elevate quick.
Spider Johnson, 3-time Horizon League All-Defensive Team selection, 9th in this league in rebounding, 5th in blocks. Has always been known on D, but because he's got those long arms and plays in the post, he can do that too. Nice rim run from B.J. Freeman, and he's on the board for the first time now.
Remember the last 2 games, he's averaged 30 points a game, and that's his first 2 of the game. Maybe we'll start heating up a little bit. Get a layup, basket gets bigger. B.J. Freeman might be the beneficiary.
Freeman, 17 points per game this season, has had an outstanding year for Milwaukee. Another pass inside for Johnson. That one tipped away. And out of bounds off of Milwaukee. Justin Thomas unable to run it down.
Louder coming out now. Danielle Robinson doing a really nice job. It's just kind of rotating through his roster, keeping guys out of foul trouble. Remember, Louder with 2 fouls.
And you can do that too when you've got a 12-point lead early.
That's exactly right.
After jumping out to that 20-5 start. Jason Woodrich, the baseline jumper, no. And the rebound to Markeith Browning. Browning going to work on Parker. Spins around him. Leaves it off for Rand. No, and a rebound, Woodrich.
Good decision by Cleveland State. Bring it back out, especially with a little bit of foul trouble. You can rest some guys. You can burn a little clock.
Parker goes to work. And that one's knocked away by Rand. Freeman for 3.
Yeah.
You said it.
Yeah.
Well, it just seems like Milwaukee's flow, their rhythm, it's all off in the early going.
Yeah, that was high-level color commentary right there. Ugh.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
Yep.
But to your point, it
was ugly.
Has been an ugly start for Milwaukee.
Yeah, it has.
And for a team that has been so good offensively. Averaging 78 points a game this season, this Milwaukee team. And now on the run to the basket, another bucket for Cleveland State. That's Ramar Pryor.
Boy, how many times has Cleveland State gotten to the rim for layups in the first half? A lot. That time in their half-court set.
Now Rand to Browning, goes for the dunk and has it denied. And on the other end, Pryor the bucket and the foul. Tay Williams gets the block on one end, Pryor the bucket on the other end, and now it could be an opportunity for 3.
Tay Williams with a Skywalker block right there. And then Ramar Pryor on the opposite end. Tay Williams that is just a facial right there. And then Ramar Pryor runs down. He's the recipient of the 94-foot opportunity, all because of Tay Williams.
On both ends, Cleveland State putting on a show here early. And Ramar Pryor misses the free throw, the rebound to Rand. Almost a steal there from Tay Williams.
Man, Tay Williams is just so athletic, so graceful. Quick jumper. What a dynamic talent for Cleveland State.
Picks up the foul there. 1-and-1 opportunity as B.J. Freeman will go to the line. Man, he has just been everywhere in the first 12 minutes.
You know, you always, when you come to the Horizon League tournament, there's going to be certain guys that just capture your imagination. And when they go to the NCAA tournament, they capture the nation's imagination. Tay Williams might be one of those guys.
He might be. The way he has played in those first 12 minutes. Milwaukee wanted to travel there from Parker. They don't get it, despite the fact that Parker went down to the ball. Eight seconds to shoot. Now Parker along the baseline, 3 to shoot. Williams in past Rand, no. Now Freeman trying to throw it down low, knocked out of bounds by Spider Johnson. And it brings us to a timeout on the floor where Cleveland State is more than doubling up Milwaukee.
Energy, confidence, facials, layups, Cleveland State.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. on. Game on.
That rocking chair would look great in our new house.
Oh, a new house, eh? Well, you should definitely see our guy.
Game on.
Geico has been offering savings for over 85 years. That's longer than the buffalo wing's been around.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
With the Venture X card from Capital One, you earn 2 times miles on every purchase.
The noise canceling. Game on.
Dark Life ACC Men's Tournament begins tomorrow with the lowest seeded teams all meeting, and then we get to the second round where the winners will advance. Some potentially spicy second round games, but I know, Mark, you've got your eye on that quarterfinal with Miami, the #1 seed.
I love Miami. Jim Larinaga, of course, came from this level, leading George Mason to the Final Four. He started the mid-major revolution. He's got Isaiah Wong, who I think is the player of the year in the ACC. That might be official, by the way. Norchad Omier is one of the most underrated, big-time rebounders, selfless players in America. I love him.
Out of the timeout to steal in the bucket quickly for Ramar Pryor.
Layups after layups after layups for Cleveland State.
33-15, Cleveland State the lead. B.J. Freeman can't get that one to go. Cleveland State trying to add to its 6-0 run. Wide open 3 for Parker, won't take it. Takes the 2, misses. Tay Williams, how did he grab that rebound?
Saddle up, go get it.
Goodness.
You gotta watch this. He puts a saddle on this guy. Watch this. He just goes up and gets it and rides him down to the ground. Look at the height difference.
Oh my God.
There's one hand above everybody else, and that is Tay Williams.
And Ahmad Rand gets the foul simply for being halfway below.
For being the horse.
Yeah, that is just, man, is he an athlete.
He jumped on a bucking bronco and got the rebound at the same time.
He did. And now Tay Williams. It's Cole Middleton and a foul on Milwaukee.
Boy, what a frustrating first half. And we are seeing body language and reaction from Milwaukee. Cleveland State, from the very first second of this game, has imposed their will on Milwaukee.
Vincent Miskevich is in the game for Milwaukee. Bart Lundy, throughout this season, has used lots of different lineups. They've had 16 different starting lineups this season as he was trying to figure out the right combination and was able to lead the Panthers to those 21 wins. Another turnover, and down the floor comes Milwaukee and a foul call.
That's the first mistake Tay Williams has made the entire game. Look at this defense. They just converged right on him right there. Good job of closing the gap on the dribble penetration lane by Elijah Jamison. Leads the opportunity on the opposite end for Kentrell Pulliam.
Cole Middleton picks up the foul, his first, and Kentrell Pulliam will go to the free throw line with 15 points in that first game against Wright State that they played in on Thursday. Well, we have you covered Selection Sunday. All starts noon Eastern, ESPN. College basketball live to prep the day. At 6, Reese and the guys look at the men's field of 68 as the brackets are announced, followed by bracketology with breakdowns of each region. At 8, the women's field of 68 is revealed with continuing coverage on ESPN at 9. And at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, even more coverage of both brackets, everything also streaming live on the ESPN app. So basically on Sunday, just park it on your couch and get analysis of the entire tournament, both men's and women's. Al Hill almost lost it, but able to keep 5 to shoot for Cleveland State. Parker, a 3 over Jamison, no. Miskevich in for the rebound, and Pulliam, or rather Freeman, will bring it across. Tried to leave it down low for Rand, and he couldn't handle it. A turnover, and Pryor's got it. And now a foul on Pulliam as he tries to slow Williams.
That was an interesting foul after the foul. Credit Tay Williams with not reacting, playing on through it. So here's the first foul, and there's the second foul.
Yeah.
That's a message foul. I don't think Tay Williams is going to receive the message. I think he's going to continue to go to the rim.
Tay Williams has been awfully aggressive here early, but it has paid enormous dividends for him. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocked shots.
Yeah. And he also won the Las Vegas Rodeo on his last rebound.
Yes, he did. I mean, just how high he was able to get, climbing on top, basically, of Ahmad Rand. Missed free throw, and now Johnson is fouled. And Milwaukee can't catch a break right now.
Yeah, Bart Lundy, like, how does that happen?
Moses Bowl checked into the game. He gets called for the foul.
7 feet 1 inches tall, and Spider goes and gets it.
Moses Bowl, a guy that hasn't played a ton of minutes over his stint at Milwaukee, but in January and February was playing really well, and Bart Lundy was rewarding him with more playing time. So we have seen Bowl on the floor a lot more of late.
Related to Manute Bowl, who played at Bridgeport, Connecticut, then went on to an NBA career.
Deontay Johnson now 7 points in the first half after that free throw good. Now a whistle against Cleveland State. Foul on Tay Williams. That'll be his second.
Well, that's interesting. 2 fouls on Tay Williams. Now will Danielle Robinson and his staff decide to give Tay Williams a break here.
And despite this score mark, you've got Enaruna's got 2, Louder's got 2, and Tay Williams has 2, and you know Coach Robinson does not like that fact.
And here comes Enaruna.
B.J. Freeman hits the free throw, but what's amazing is that despite all 3 of them having 2 fouls and as a consequence having to sit multiple first half minutes, it has not made a difference in the game.
Well, when Crowder went down with his second foul, I mean, that was in the first, minute of this game? First 2 minutes
Yeah, Louder
of this game?
picked up his first 2 fouls in the first minute.
Yeah. So Coach Robinson is just using all these guys. They have 2 fouls. They're just rotating in and out of the lineup.
Our Pryor finding Enaruna, who's back into the game and now into the post. Kicks to Pryor. Misses the 3. Loose on the floor, out of bounds off of Yael Hill.
Well, here's where Milwaukee just really needs to settle down. And Bart Lundy now bringing Jalen Johnson back in the game, who's been his most consistent inside scoring threat in this game.
How would you handle this if you're Bart Lundy? Because similar to the first game, they find themselves in this huge hole. And how do you pull your way out of it? I suppose you want more looks like that, but Freeman the miss, and now this may lead to points. Lauder a three, no, and Aruna, yes, in the foul. So Milwaukee had a good look on one end, they miss, and it now may turn into three on the other end for Cleveland State.
So you ask a great question. What does Milwaukee do now? You've got Lauder, who's got 2 fouls, and Aruna, who's got 2 fouls. So if I'm Bart Lundy, I'm going to make sure I attack Aruna just like that and go to the rim. That's a good shot. That's the shot that you want. But the miss turns into a breakout. And so how many times have we seen a numbers advantage for Cleveland State tonight? Mainly because live ball turnovers.
And the points that Cleveland State has been able to get in transition has been eye-popping here early.
And now Aruna takes a break. I really like what Coach Robinson is doing, rotating these guys with foul trouble. A few minutes, sit them down. Another guy goes in, a few minutes, sit them down.
You see 19-3 in fast break points, 28-10 on points in the paint for Cleveland State. And just domination.
Cleveland State is just dominated in the 2-point land. 0 for 4 from 3, it doesn't matter.
And to think that they're up 20, having not hit 1 3.
Yeah. I know one Porter Moser is watching this game tonight, and I know who he's rooting for. Cleveland State is former assistant Danielle Robinson.
Right, he was with Loyola Chicago when they won the CBI back about 7 years ago, and now a shot clock violation against the Panthers.
Well, that Cleveland State bench just exploded on that shot clock violation. This team has been the aggressor, and Bart Lundy just trying to find his way back into this game. That is one fired up group of Vikings.
8 first half turnovers for Milwaukee. Cleveland State, as you saw, 10-1 on points in the paint. Still a long way to go. And if there's anything we know about the Horizon League, you got to play it out for 40 minutes.
And that's how it can turn fast.
In the corner, a 3 try, no good. Dominic Ham got that look, but could not get it to full. Here's Aruna going to work against Browning and an offensive foul. So Tristan Aruna's now got 3 in the first half, but Cleveland State's up 20. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business.
Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on.
When it's it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We
punched, including one in a thriller. Gonzaga's coming up next year on ESPN2. We'll preview that one as well. What are you seeing here?
Well, Cleveland State has not hit a three, and they're up 20. How are they doing it? Their transition offense has been spectacular, and as good as their offense has been, B.J. Freeman 1 for 8. He's averaged 30 in the first two matchups.
Yeah, if he doesn't get something going here at the end of the half, it could get worse. He's got to get some confidence before halftime because he's playing frustrated.
Jordan?
All right, thank you, Zubin and the guys. And boy, B.J. Freeman, 1 of 8 from the field in the first half. He's got 4 points. And if you're Milwaukee, you've got to get something from him in these last few minutes, I would think, Mark, just to get some confidence going into the second half.
Yeah, just don't turn it over like that again.
Jason Woodridge down the floor. No, Pryor there for the cleanup.
I mean, that's the story right there. Turnovers that have led to layups for Cleveland State. They've gotten their offensive rhythm.
And now back on the other end, Justin Thomas on the board for the first time. How difficult is it for you as a coach when out of a timeout you have a turnover that leads to a basket on the other end? Because you know Bart Lundy's got to be scheming something out of a timeout to try to trigger some confidence.
Yeah, nothing more frustrating because you're relying on execution at that point. I mean, Bart Lundy, a great teacher. We watched him practice yesterday. Highly organized, understands how to teach and communicate. Come out of that timeout and totally do not execute. This is not the Milwaukee team we've seen during this season. But this is the Milwaukee team Bart Lundy is coaching tonight. There's not going to be any trades at halftime. He's got to come up with some solutions. And that solution, first of all, just take care of the ball.
Yeah. Well, Bart Lundy coming to this program after 9 wildly successful years at Queens University in Charlotte. And in the Division II ranks, he was running a well-oiled machine there. They were extremely successful. 7 appearances in the D2 tourney. And then comes here to Milwaukee to take over a program that we mentioned off the top of the show had a very disappointing season last year in what could have been such a wonderful story with Pat Baldwin and his son Pat Jr. coming to the program. Here's Pryor to lay it in. Pryor with a new career high. He's now got 10 first half points, and it's a 24-point lead.
The coaching staff is exasperated on the Milwaukee sideline. Why? I mean, that's grade school stuff to get back defensively. That was just way too easy. It's driving them nuts.
And now Freeman called for a trap.
Total and complete frustration by Milwaukee. On the bench, on the floor, and Cleveland State smells blood, and they are sharks circling in the water right now.
And Milwaukee has been a team that traditionally has done very well in the Horizon League tournament. They're 27-20 in this tournament all time. They last won the tournament in 2014. But they have been a team. And, you know, it's only a few years ago that Milwaukee, as a 10 seed, reached the championship of the Horizon League tournament. So traditionally, we have not seen performances like this from the Panthers in this tournament.
Yeah, in the preseason, we didn't think Milwaukee would even be sniffing Indiana. But here they are in the semifinals.
And they earned it. They have had a great year. This has just not been their half of basketball. Here's Thomas for 3. That's good. Justin Thomas now 5 first half points. Trying to get something going for Milwaukee.
In the full court pressure, now you look up floor and try to lay it up again. There's a turnover. That's the only way Milwaukee can get back in this game if Cleveland State just gets sloppy. You know, Justin Thomas has definitely turned it up offensively. Went to the rim hard, took a bump, finished, now bangs the 3 ball. And then just careless passing right there. That's how Milwaukee can get back in the game, but they're reliant on Cleveland State to make mistakes.
There's Freeman. Rolls it back out. Pullian, he'll take a 3 from the wing, and that's good. So Kentrell Pullian on the board for the first time. And now it's under 20.
He's going to get trapped.
Yael Hill trying to beat it, and Woodrich catches over the midcourt line. Maybe not exactly how they drew it up, Mark, but they did get it across.
They did get it across, but Milwaukee definitely a little more energy right now.
There's Parker to shoot. It was blocked. Freeman. Yes! So B.J. Freeman now with 6. You heard Tom talk about it. You heard Wojo talk about it. You got to get B.J. Freeman involved. Well, Milwaukee on an 8-0 run, and it's capped by Freeman, who scores. Cleveland State still comfortably ahead, but the Panthers showing life.
Game on. Game on.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
Game on. Game on.
Lundy has got his team playing harder and better and executing. Thomas from downtown knocks it down. Petropolian from downtown. You start banging threes, it starts getting pretty interesting right away. And then the attack the basket for B.J. Freeman, who's so critical for Bart Lundy's bunch to make a run.
Bart Lundy's coaching staff that he assembled knew that when they brought B.J. Freeman in, that he had an opportunity to be a really special player for this Milwaukee club. And he finished second team All-Horizon League this year. Had that game-high 29 against Wright State in the quarterfinals. Has had 2 great games against Cleveland State this year. Has had to fight for 8 first-half points. And Milwaukee add to the 8-0 run. Here's Freeman down the floor. Has that one knocked away by Parker. Oh, what a defensive play. And now Parker finishes at the other end. Deshaun Parker. And at the buzzer, Freeman misses. And Deshaun Parker ends the 8-0 run with a play on both ends to cap the first half for Cleveland State.
Well, look what happened in the first game.
Yeah.
Northern Kentucky was clearly in control.
Right.
But that changed. Youngstown State got it going. It became pretty interesting in the second half.
22 down to 4.
Look, Cleveland State opened up the first half on a 10-0 run. Can they duplicate that here? If they can, this game's over fast.
Out of the break, Tristan Enneru with a quick bucket, and he's now got 11 points.
What a great call by Danielle Robinson, coming out of that halftime break and getting Enneru involved right away. And there's a turnover, just careless.
Boy, not the first possession that Milwaukee would have wanted after that first half.
Really good down screen by Spider inside, and Enneru just comes off that screen and nails it.
Well, Enneru picked up his 3rd foul late in the first half, so you wonder if this game gets closer, if the foul trouble that was accrued by Cleveland State comes back to matter. And Lauder knocks down a 3.
That was the second called play. That was designed for Lauder to come off along the baseline, and he was wide open. 5-0 run. Open the half, right?
Pretty good start for Cleveland State. Johnson underneath scores over Deontay Johnson.
Well, Jalen Johnson has been the bright spot for Milwaukee in this game. Then after that, it gets a little shaky.
Jalen Johnson, 12 points tonight for the Panthers. Lone Milwaukee player in double figures. Here's Lauder, step back jumper, no. Tay Williams springs up to try to tip it back, and he's fouled.
Yeah, hard to block off a guy that gets up as quick as Tay Williams does. As you start to block him off, he's in the air going after the basketball. Now watch Tay Williams. He just goes up so quick, you can't block him off.
Kentrell Pullian gets called for the foul as a result. So Tay Williams, 10 first half points, as you mentioned, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks as well. And such a key to that 20-5 start for Cleveland State. Knocks down the first free throw.
You know, every team has a seminal moment. And this is a Cleveland State team that fell to Milwaukee to end the regular season. And Coach Danielle Robinson had a players and coaches meeting where he just asked them, how are you? How can we help you? And there was a lot of soul searching, including Louder, who basically told the team he had let him down. And Robinson stepped up because Louder has been accused of in other programs of being selfish and just wanting to shoot the ball. And Robinson embraced him and told him how much of a winner he's become. And it really has helped this team focus on this game in particular. You can see it.
Deontay Johnson went for the block. It's called for the goaltend. Well, to your point about Drew Louder, I think that his story is emblematic of why Danielle Robinson is a special coach in his first year at Cleveland State. Drew Louder was a guy that Danielle Robinson wanted to bring into the program. But as Mark mentioned, there were questions about whether he would be a good fit in the program, whether he wanted offense too much, whether he would fit the defensive toughness concept that Robinson is trying to build here at Cleveland State as Williams gets fouled. And so first, Danielle Robinson went to his leadership council and said, what do you guys think about bringing him in? Is he going to mesh? He makes a nice pass there to Tay Williams to draw the foul. And Danielle Robinson said that after talking to the leadership council, those guys wanted to have him in, but the condition was that Louder was going to start as a walk-on on the team to prove that he was willing to follow the kind of structure that Cleveland State wanted to implement under Danielle. And the way that he speaks so glowingly about Drew Louder and the way that he has changed as a player and has helped this team has been so key in the forming of this chemistry that has allowed Cleveland State to get to the point they're at.
And Louder made huge free throws coming down the stretch in that win over Robert Morris, and the coaching staff just embraced him. They really appreciate this kid's gone from being what some coaches would call a loser to a winner with Danielle Robinson.
Drew Louder, one of the key guys, makes a beautiful pass underneath, maybe a little bit too fast for Johnson, but corrals it, scores it, and the foul.
Drew Louder is proving our point. Look, sometimes you just need a coach that believes in you. You need an opportunity where you're at home and you feel welcome, and you kind of take the pressure off your back and stop listening to all the noise and concentrate on what you can do to help your team win. And Drew Louder, the last couple possessions, has been the distributor. This is a huge success story of a young man who owned his own mistakes, looked in the mirror, and said, I can be better, and a coach that helped him to be better.
100%. And he played his way into the starting lineup with this Cleveland State team as the season has gone along. Danielle Robinson giving him more responsibility because he's earned it. And now Cleveland State with its largest lead tonight. Listen, we've seen a lot of Horizon League basketball over the years. I don't think any of us would have expected that we would see a score as lopsided as this one. Give Cleveland State a ton of credit for the way that they've performed.
Well, Milwaukee going to full court pressure now because that's the only way that Bart Lundy can get back into this basketball game. If Cleveland State just takes care of the ball, there's no prayer. But if Milwaukee can cause turnovers, that's the only way Bart Lundy can make this happen.
Beneath the pressure, and Aruna throws it down.
Emphatic. Boy, Cleveland State just gives it up to Aruna. Well, this kid was at Iowa State once upon a time. He has found a home in Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, left-handed hammer for Enaruna. And back to a 25-point lead for the Vikings of Cleveland State.
You know, Jordan, everybody talks about the transfer portal like it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think it's a good thing. Guys can find a home. They can search, find a way to have better careers. If you can't retain your own players, then figure out how to retain them.
And to your point on that, Cleveland State is an example of a team that was able to keep 4 players that were key to last year's success and bring in transfers that have helped mesh together this team that Danielle Robinson has the precipice of the Horizonland Championship. Tristan Enaruna was the big transfer portal guy. And certainly Drew Lauder, as we mentioned, a big transfer portal pickup for this Cleveland State team. But those two guys meshed in with the Deshaun Parkers and Deontay Johnsons of the world, which allowed this Vikings team to build a successful roster in year 1 under Robinson.
Yeah, I'm a free market guy, period. I like choice.
Now Lauder down the floor, has it nearly taken away, but Williams has it. And Enaruna for 3. There's a 3 for Cleveland State. And Aruna's now got 16.
Yeah, he's feeling it.
Cleveland State, after not making a 3 in the first half, they've hit 2 here in the second half.
Think about that. They're up by 28. They've only got 2 made 3s for the game.
Pretty astonishing. Cleveland State's rolling.
Tristan Enaruna. He has made so much difference for this team. This kid's special. This team is special. They're on a roll.
Exclusive presentation of basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business.
Game on. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
Game on. Game on. Game on.
With the Venture X card from Capital One, you earn 2 times miles on every purchase.
The noise canceling.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
That rocking chair would look great in our new house.
Oh, a new house, eh? Well, you should definitely see our guy.
This time, the unbelievable is everywhere.
Week 4 kicks off Saturday on FX and Sunday on ESPN2.
The West Coast Conference Tournament is going on as we speak. St. Mary's BYU live on ESPN, and Gonzaga and San Francisco will follow us on ESPN2. Set to begin at 11:30 Eastern Time. So about 15 minutes from now. We're at 15:39 on the second half clock here. And what has been a clinic from Cleveland State. They have dominated Milwaukee from the jump. Started on a 10-0 run. They were up 20-5, and they have not looked back. And Milwaukee had an 8-0 run briefly at the end of the first half. But that's really been all. And so we'll see if the Panthers are able to generate something down the stretch here after Browning's bucket.
Danielle Robinson, he has spun a masterpiece with his staff here tonight. Aruna with the air prick.
And Aruna didn't get anything there, and now Freeman down the lane, and Johnson the block. Lauder racing ahead. And Aruna misses underneath. Good passing, but Aruna unable to get that to fall. Freeman into the lane over Williams for the bucket.
Every made basket obviously leads to full court pressure opportunity for Milwaukee, and that's the one way that they can get back in this thing. It is a long, long road, and Cleveland State has numbers.
Hey, Williams has it blocked. And now a jump ball is called, and possession arrow will send it to Milwaukee.
So we do know that Northern Kentucky is going to play for the conference championship tomorrow night. And Marquez Warwick and Sam Vincent were both so good. When the ball was in their hands, I mean, Darren Horn's got two reliable guys that just make really good decisions.
Well, and then you talk about the performance from Chris Brandon tonight, who was absolutely outstanding, rebounding the basketball for Northern Kentucky. Brandon finished with 8 points and 17 rebounds. 10 offensive rebounds in our first game tonight.
Yeah, he's the Dennis Rodman, Kenneth Fareed, Justin Gorham of mid-major basketball. And that guy just goes and devours rebounds. He was so much fun to watch.
Here's Lauder, the jumper, no. And Aruna runs in through two Milwaukee defenders to lay it in.
We could have an entire Scandinavian championship tomorrow, the Vikings versus the Norse.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to be doing tonight.
Well, there's going to be lots of people wearing the helmets with the horns on them. You saw there were several Norse fans doing that this evening. That, you know, they had their Norse painted across their chest and the Norse helmet. I have a feeling, if I know my friend Mark Adams, that he may be wearing a Norse helmet at some point tomorrow, or a Viking helmet. I
think we're going to have whale and lutefisk for our pregame meal.
Are you going to cater it in?
Maybe.
Okay.
I looked it up. Norse do not eat penguins because I was ready for Youngstown State. They did not eat penguins, and there's Spider Johnson with another rejection right there. Bart Lundy thought it was a goaltender.
He got way up there, and now Tay Williams lays it in on the other end.
And I'm positive the Vikings never ate Panthers, but it's happening tonight.
They are doing that tonight, that is for sure. Drew Lauder is going to pick up his third foul. 26-point lead. Bart Lundy just continuing to try different lineups on the floor, which has been very successful. I think we should point out, you know, this is an outlier of a game for Milwaukee. They've had a couple of difficult games this year, but for the most part, this Panther team has had a great season. They've been a great story in the Horizon League this year and earned that 2 seed. They beat the Vikings to get the 2 seed in this tournament.
They boat raced Wright State in the quarterfinals, and that wasn't even a fair fight.
Right, at the Kloshki Center, which was sold out. Bart Lundy has done an incredible job of regenerating excitement and interest in this Milwaukee program. But tonight, it's just not been their night. Here's Howell in off the bench, and Zach Howell scores for the Panthers.
Well, the one thing that's really cool about what Bart Lundy is doing, I mean, he is leveraging his bench. He is looking for hockey type of substitutions. It's paying off right now.
And a bucket and a foul for Elijah Jamison. So now an opportunity for 5 straight points for the Panthers.
Yeah, this freshman's going to be really good. Elijah Jamison You know, he's played a lot of point guard, and what really impressed me, especially in the quarterfinal game, look, oftentimes freshmen hit a wall, and usually it's in February, early March. This kid has run through the wall. He has really played well for Bart Lundy and the Milwaukee Panthers.
Tristan Enaruna just picked up his 4th foul. We keep mentioning it because you wonder if it will end up making a difference tonight. He's going to go to the bench now.
Well, remember in the first half when he was on the bench, Milwaukee closed the first half pretty effectively.
Yeah, they went on that 8-0 run at the end of the first half. And the missed free throw from Jamison, and so now the Vikings back down the floor. Here's Tay Williams. Through 2 defenders. No, Johnson there for the two-handed stuff.
Spider Johnson on the spot.
12 points, 7 boards, 3 blocks tonight for Spider Johnson. And now another bucket and a foul for the Milwaukee Panthers when we come back.
Spider Johnson reads it and deposits it.
Game on. Game on. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. Game on. 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 Game on.
Targets are on site.
It's all here, as we discussed.
Game on.
Targets are on site.
It's all here, as we discussed.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
This is what you dream of.
A souvenir for a lucky fan.
Time now for our principal worth a watch, and Tristan Enaruna has been worth a watch tonight.
Over his last 15 games, he has shot over 50%, 14 out of those 15 games. He's got 5 or plus rebounds 13 times. He's had a block and a steal 13 times as well. It's not just how he scores, but it's how he's done everything for this team over the last 15 games. He has been one of the best players in this league.
Tristan Enaruna has been great for this Cleveland State team. Earned first team All-Horizon League honors, was tied for 10th in the league in scoring and 4th in blocked shots. Also was very efficient from the field this year, nearly 52%. And right now he can sit comfortably on the bench with this team up 22. You just do wonder if at some point this game gets a little closer, how Danielle Robinson would manage putting him back in with 4 fouls. So Elijah Jamison knocks down the free throw. And now some pressure, and Deontay Johnson nearly lost it, loose on the floor. A possession arrow will keep it with Cleveland State.
Well, Milwaukee put that pressure on, trying to get a few turnovers here and there to cut in this lead. but it is a long way to go. Did you see that fish earlier? You didn't see that, did you?
The fish?
Yeah, the fish.
It's
see
not
the fish? Yeah.
Is it a lutefisk?
You know, yeah, there it is. So that's lutefisk right there. We're going to have that for the pregame. Vikings eat that stuff.
There you go. I'm not sure why the Milwaukee fan would have brought it, though. I mean,
sacrifice?
I suppose. I need to get the story behind that.
He got on TV, didn't he? Caught my eye.
Right. I mean, typically you don't see a blown-up fish in the first rows of seats.
Catfish, but we're going to call it a lutefisk.
There's a three off the window for Yael Hill. He's smiling coming back down the floor.
He should be. Everything's going well for the Vikings tonight. They are plundering.
Now a foul on Ramar Pryor.
I mean, here's the other thing, too, Jordan, you got to consider if you're Danielle Robinson. Now, this isn't the time for it yet, but you can start resting guys. If this thing stays this way with about 5 minutes to go, you can start resting guys. And you know, when you've got back-to-back games like this, that little bit of 5 minutes can really make a difference coming down the stretch of a championship game.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that as Rand throws it down. I wonder, in a game like this, if the score remains as it is and it's as lopsided as it is, do you worry, if you're Danielle Robinson, about it being too relaxed down the stretch? You got to get up for a championship game tomorrow if this score holds and they win this game. So, you know, how do you sort of manage that lack of intensity down the stretch if that's what we get to? Lauder misses a three.
They certainly haven't shown any signs of, like, letting up. But it is one thing that you can go a little deeper in your bench. You can go ahead and use your personnel. Because the last thing you want is like Tay Williams, for example, to turn his ankle, something like that.
Right.
In a 24-point lead. Again, this is not the time for that. But in about 5 minutes,
it might be.
There'll be some assistant coaches in his ear saying, you know, we might want to call off the dogs here a little bit.
There's Hill. Oh, gets that one to fall. Beautiful shot. 9 points for Hill.
I mean, this game's going to run close to midnight. And then you got to come back at 7 o'clock tomorrow night and play for the championship in the league. But you know what? Here's the thing, though, Jordan, having made a few runs in some tournaments along the way, that here's what I learned in coaching. When you're going bad, rock the boat and sink it. When you're going good, just ride that wave. And that's what this staff needs to do. Just ride that momentum wave all the way into tomorrow night.
Well, your metaphor would work for both the Vikings and the Norse.
Yeah,
there's
a method
to
the madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was well done. The wordsmith over here, this Mark Adams. Justin Thomas knocks one down. He's got 7. And now Hill racing down the floor to slow it down for Cleveland State. Just over 9 minutes left. Semifinal game number 2 on the night in the Horizon League Championship at Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Cleveland State up 22 points. Jason Woodrich for 3. That's off target. The rebound, Thomas will run it down the floor from Milwaukee. Keith Browning, driving kick. BJ Freeman, an air ball on a 3. And now Deontay Johnson stepped on the line, and so it'll remain with Milwaukee.
You know, what's interesting about Cleveland State is that Spider Johnson really changes the game. Number 35 in black. I mean, he is a shot blocker. How many times have we seen the ball penetrate into that 10-foot area, and he's standing there, and they look at him and say, I better pass this thing out, because he's absolutely going to give me a facial.
Well, and he's had a great career at Cleveland State. And I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he's played for 3 coaches in 5 years.
Yeah.
Started his career under Dennis Felton, and of course stayed at Cleveland State during Dennis Gates' extremely successful run, and then decides to stay and play for Danielle Robinson as one of those key players to return this year at Cleveland State. He's made Cleveland really his home, but also has had some big moments in their turnaround and their success. key defensive player, but also on the offensive end, they had a buzzer-beating dunk against Wright State and one of the signature wins for then Dennis Gates Club a couple of years ago. Had a really nice career. And now it brings us to a timeout with under 8 minutes to go. Cleveland State up 73-55. Milwaukee trying to chip away, but it's been all Vikings tonight.
Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. Game on. Game on.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
It's a little tight. Makes me feel husky.
Wednesday in the association, our doubleheader starts in the Big Easy. Brandon Ingram and the Pelicans hosting Luka, Kyrie, and the Mavs, 7:30 Eastern. Then it's off to LA. Pascal Siakam, the Raptors, taking on Kawhi, Paul George, and the Clippers. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. And you just saw a former NBA player in the house tonight, Norris Cole, a Cleveland State legend, led them to the Horizon League Basketball Championship in 2009 and was truly one of the best players in the Horizon League in the last 20 years. He who had an incredible career at Cleveland State just a couple of weeks ago was inducted into the Cleveland State Basketball Hall of Fame, or the Cleveland State Athletics Hall of Fame, I should say, and his former coach Gary Waters in attendance for that. That was really nice to see in Cleveland. And Norris is very involved too. He's one of the most successful alums to come from Cleveland State, but also someone who remains connected to the program, has spoken to the team. Regardless of who's coaching, he always tries to make sure that he gives back to the program. So he is, to no one's surprise, here tonight to follow his Vikings, and he has to be pretty excited with what he's seeing.
Well, you mentioned Gary Waters, too, who had such a great run in Cleveland State. And, you know, Gary Waters is a really interesting guy because he's so well-read. He's an author. He teaches leadership and actually would teach the team leadership lessons. And Norris Cole is a great example of the Gary Waters way as to how to conduct yourself, how to build that community that has become Cleveland State basketball, and also to look at its past and the great successes of Cleveland State.
Absolutely. And the program, the turnaround that has occurred over the last few years at Cleveland State has been pretty remarkable. You think about when Dennis Gates took over and had to build a team late in the recruiting period to the point where they basically had a couple of weeks to try to fling a team together. Some of the guys that are on this team were part of that construction. And they win 7 games in the Horizon League in his first year with no expectation. The next year, they win the Horizon League and go to the NCAA tournament. The year after that, they go to the NIT after winning the regular season title. And now Daniel Robinson comes in, and they finished in the 3 seed and are 7 minutes and 34 seconds away from reaching the championship game of the Horizon League again. There's a steal by Stewart, and he will go to the line. A blocking foul against Drew Lauder. That's number 4 on Lauder. It's now down to a 16-point game with 7.5 minutes to go. This was almost at 30, so it's been methodical, but Milwaukee is climbing its way back into this thing. Angelo Stewart at the free throw line knocks it over.
Well, remember how Bart Lundy has gone through basically a hockey rotation where there have been 4 or 5 guys at a time. He's just throwing fresh bodies consistently at this Cleveland State team. And here we go. It's a 14-point game just like that.
It's a 10-0 run for the Milwaukee Panthers. And this time Milwaukee has to beat the pressure. And Aruna back on the floor with 4 fouls. And now turns it over. And Milwaukee's fans have some life.
Yeah, this could be an epic comeback.
I mean, this would be a comeback for the ages.
Yep. And Cleveland State's been in control this entire game by a lot.
Cleveland State led by 28 with 15:58 to go. And now they've cut it down to 12. B.J. Freeman with 14 points.
Uh-oh.
Are they going to get it across the floor? They will. Tay Williams to Enaruna. No, but a foul.
Yeah, Tay Williams needs to exert his will on this game right now, along with Tristan Enaruna. Those are the 2 best players consistently for Cleveland State all night long and throughout this season. And those are the 2 guys that need to settle this team down and get this lead back up again. But credit this Milwaukee team, and credit Bart Lundy for keep bringing fresh bodies in their full court pressure packages. It is wearing Cleveland State down.
Enaruna hits the first. And Aruna's had to manage the minutes because of the 4 fouls, but he now has 19 points to go along with 7 rebounds.
Well, and earlier when I was talking about resting guys with 5 minutes to go, forget about that. What was I talking about?
Well, can't do that now.
No.
Enaruna, 20 points tonight. 9th time this season that Enaruna has eclipsed 20 points. Howell against a double. Cross court. Thomas for 3.
Yeah, that sophomore from Baton Rouge, he wanted that shot. You could see it in his eyes from the beginning of that possession. He wanted that shot.
Another turnover. Freeman down low. Howell blocked away by Johnson and out of bounds.
Cleveland State seemed to give up on that play. There was a loose ball and everybody stopped with a black jersey. Watch this. Everybody's like looking around like, where's the ball? Well, it's in Milwaukee's hands. Boy, has the momentum shifted.
Cleveland State has not had a field goal in the last 3:41. And now Courtney Green is over at the scorer's table. The Milwaukee band has got a chant going. The fans of the Panthers are finally engaged and into it. Bart Lundy's team is trying to pull an epic comeback here. And a timeout on the floor with 6:13 to go. Cleveland State was up 28, but now they're up 11. Don't go anywhere. Horizon League semifinals in Indy.
Game on.
on. Game on. Game on. Game on.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
Game on. Game on. Game on.
Drive. It's what propels the champions, the comeback kids.
When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. When it's tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger.
ABC Hockey Saturday on ABC and ESPN+.
Milwaukee was down by 28 points at the 15-minute mark, and 9 minutes after that, this team has figured out a way to cut this thing down to 11. And they've done it by just being relentless on the offensive glass. They've done it by sharing the basketball, and they've done it by wanting the ball and taking big shots like Justin Thomas. Here we go.
30-13 run for the Milwaukee Panthers. And now they can cut into it even more after a foul on Cleveland State. Tay Williams picking up the foul. For Williams, that's his third. And B.J. Freeman will go to the line. 14 points tonight on 6 of 20 shooting. Knocks down the first. And now it's a 10-point game.
You know, Jordan, you know it's getting interesting when you start asking people around the Horizon League what's the greatest comeback in Horizon League history. I mean, this is unbelievable. 28-point lead is now down to 9. Get on ESPN2 right now. Spread the word on the Twitterverse. Watch this wacky game in the Horizon League.
Well, if you turned off a Horizon League game, that means something. That's your mistake.
Oh!
Tay Williams, wow! Unbelievable down the lane. What a statement from Tay Williams.
Tay Williams, watch out below. Posters across the country. I'll shut up, just listen.
Well, as we start to talk about Milwaukee and its comeback, Tay Williams is like not so fast.
Yeah.
18 points now for Williams. Thomas has that one bounce off his noggin, and it comes out to Parker.
Spider Johnson with a big-time block. Here comes again, Tay Williams.
No, and Aruna, no. Rebound to Howell. B.J. Freeman through the lane. No, tip back, yes. 18 points for Freeman now.
B.J. Freeman has come alive, as have the Panthers of Milwaukee.
And now Yael Hill has to call a timeout for Cleveland State.
Ten minutes ago on this clock, at the 15-minute mark, Milwaukee was down by 28 points. This is now a 10-point game with over 5 minutes to go. You know, Bart Lundy did some really interesting things by just bringing in 4 guys, 5 guys, press and continue to create pace. And his team has responded.
Well, in a certain way, Mark, it feels as if the way that Bart Lundy approached getting his team back into the game is emblematic of the way that his team's season is going. Early on in the year, they used all kinds of different lineups. They wanted to figure out what was the best mix, what was the best combination to get Milwaukee to have the season that it's had. They've used 16 different starting lineup combinations this year. This is a team that's been a miraculous turnaround after a 10-22 season last year where they won 8 games in the Horizon League. This year they won 14 games in the league and won 21 games.
This team was picked 9th out of 11 in the Horizon League in the preseason poll.
And then finished 2nd. And Aruna, Williams, and Aruna. Gorgeous. 22 for Tristan and Aruna. Tristan's got to be careful with 4 fouls. Howell misses a 3, comes out to Rand. And now B.J. Freeman finding Rand down low against Johnson with the right no, and the rebound and Aruna.
Spider Johnson just changed that shot. Well, you want Tay Williams to continue to be aggressive. Number 1 in black.
He's in the paint right now with 10 to shoot. And Aruna trying to get through 2 defenders. Puts it up, no. And it comes out to Freeman.
Aruna had Tay Williams wide open. Missed it.
That 3 will not fall for Angelo Stewart.
Technical foul.
Technical is going to be called
on an assistant coach.
Man, Milwaukee just did not need that. With 4:13 to go, you're back within 12 after you were down 28, and now a technical foul. And so now Yael Hill will go to the free throw line for the technical free throws, and this may be an opportunity as Hill knocks down the first to give Cleveland State potentially 5 points.
Yeah, the worst technical foul is one that the head coach doesn't get and somebody on the bench gets, especially in this situation where there's momentum as Tay Williams goes up and just devours that rebound.
Obviously, it was something said.
No question. I saw it in real time. Bart Lundy said nothing. That was not his technical foul.
TJ Karstensen was right there to call the technical. So they get the 2 free throws. And now, can Cleveland State add even more following the technical?
And now the crowd's quiet for Milwaukee.
5 to shoot. Here's Parker for 3. He got it.
Wow. A complete momentum shift.
Back to a 17-point game now. Thomas, the missed dunk. Johnson, no. Another rebound and a miss, and on the 4th try, he puts it in. So 21 points for Johnson. But the Milwaukee Panthers down 15 to the Cleveland State Vikings, 3:21 away from returning to the Horizon League Championship. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Barbasol Shaving Cream, America's leader for a close, comfortable shave. Better by Barbasol.
Game on. That rocking chair would look great in our new house.
Oh, a new house, eh? Well, you should definitely see our guy.
Game on.
tournament time, we don't go big. We go bigger. Game on. Game on. Game on. Game on.
Freshman Aiden Mahaney, Steve, had 18 West Coast Conference tournament.
He is a dude, one of the best freshman guards in the country. Terrific off the pick and roll, especially when he can get to his left hand. He is one to watch.
Maybe a third meeting with Drew Timme and Gonzaga. This is going to start on ESPNU, Coach.
Well, Drew Timme leads the way in scoring around that rim, but the other night against St. Mary's, Strouthers, Watson, they were all in there.
Again, on the U in 3 minutes. Jordan.
All right, thank you, guys. 85-70, Cleveland State the lead with 3:21 to go. This game got down within single digits after it was a 28-point lead for Cleveland State here in our second Horizon League semifinal game tonight. But after a technical foul called against the Milwaukee bench, the lead is ballooned back out to 15 for Cleveland State, and they've got the ball with 3:17 to go.
Yeah, that technical foul was not Bart Lundy. I wonder what Tom Crean would do to me if I was his assistant and got a technical foul in that situation. I think I know.
Deontay Johnson had that one blocked by Rand, and it comes out to Milwaukee. Under 3 minutes to go. B.J. Freeman, three from the wing, no. Had to shoot it right over Annaruna. And now it's out to Parker as the clock ticks away. And now a whistle because Ahmad Rand is down on the other end of the floor.
Well, this kid has been such a special player for Bart Lundy. Transfer Memphis to Oregon State. Found a home here at Milwaukee. Great shot blocker.
Horizon League Defensive Player of the Year, Ahmad Rand. And the first Milwaukee player to be named Defensive Player of the Year since the 2011-12 season. And you just hate to see that. You hope he's okay.
Yeah, he got a blocked shot early in that Wright State game in the quarterfinals, and that ignited the crowd, ignited this team to the semifinals here tonight.
Rand led the Horizon League in blocks, was 20th in the country this year, 2.1 per game. So now Milwaukee plays the next couple of minutes, likely without Rand available on the floor. We'll see. Williams fought it up there, no, but Spider Johnson there for the tip back.
Well, Cleveland State has certainly answered the bell.
And now Jalen Johnson with the second chance points. And a 15-point game with 2:16 left, and Bart Lundy will talk things over. Take a look at the bracket in the Horizon League. As it stands right now, we know Northern Kentucky will be playing for an NCAA tournament bid tomorrow. And it appears that with 2:16 to go, Cleveland State will be the team that is going to face them in the championship. Last year, Northern Kentucky played for the Horizon League title. You were here for that. They lost to Wright State on the game-winning shot from Trey Calvin. 2 years ago, it was Cleveland State that beat Oakland to reach the NCAA tournament, and now it appears that these two schools that have traded the last couple of years in the championship game will get to meet to see who gets there for the second time in 3 years.
You just keep knocking on that door. And Northern Kentucky has been as good as anybody in this league at continuing to knock on that door, and then you just knock it over. Look, Northern Kentucky last year, they were in control of that game with Wright State for a long time, but there was a 4-minute stretch. Remember Wright State last year, it's 5 fathers that had passed away during that, either before or during that season, players and coaches, including Scott Nagy's day. And it was as if divine providence showed up that night. And Wright State came out the winner. And we know how wounded Northern Kentucky is even today. Marquez Ward spent some time with us talking about that as a motivating factor. While it's not top of mind, it's certainly in their mind, and they've got something to prove tomorrow night.
They certainly do. And this Northern Kentucky program that we saw earlier this evening, as we said, 4 times in the last 5 years have reached the championship game of the Horizon League. Their expectation in Highland Heights, Kentucky, is to be playing for Horizon League championships, and they're going to get another opportunity tomorrow. Cleveland State trying to get back to the title game yet again. A foul against Yael Hill with 2:04 to go in a 15-point game. And Freeman trying to do all he can for this Milwaukee team. A sophomore with just so much potential. They had just an incredible first season in the Horizon League. 17 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, 3 assists per game. He was everything for this Milwaukee team at Bart Lundy's first season, which was so successful. And now trying to do everything he can to cut into this deficit. But he remains in this program. Milwaukee's future is very bright.
Last 2 games, he's averaged over 30 points per game. Shot 40% from 3. Efficient.
Under 2 minutes to go. Milwaukee trapping. And Lauder able to get it out of there. And Aruna down low for the slam.
Well, the drama has passed. Cleveland State's going to advance.
There's Howell along 3, no. Just over 90 seconds left in the Cleveland State Vikings and their fans that have made their way to Indianapolis are excited for tomorrow night. Cleveland State blitzed Milwaukee early. They were up 10-0. They were up 20-5. They were up 28 points with 15:58 left in this game. And now let's head back to Zubin in the studio.
Jordan, thanks. For those of you looking for San Francisco and Gonzaga West Coast Conference semifinal, it's currently airing on ESPNU. When you fellas are done, that game will move right back over here to ESPN2. Once again, at the conclusion of your game. Jordan, Mark.
All right, thank you, Zubin. Appreciate it. Those of you waiting to see the West Coast Conference game, as you just heard Zubin say, you will see that momentarily. 16-point game with 1:15 left. Cleveland State about to advance to take on Northern Kentucky in the Horizon League championship game tomorrow night with a bid to the NCAA tournament on the line.
Yeah, there's no fallback position for either one of these teams. You win, you go. You lose, you go home. It's that simple. As Youngstown State, the regular season champion, will move on to the NIT. Congratulations to Jared Calhoun and the Penguins for a great season, but there will be 2 teams playing for their NCAA tournament lives tomorrow night.
Parker at the free throw line adding to Cleveland State's total. Well, Danielle Robinson often talks about Cleveland State being a team that is going to defend you and play extremely tough and make every possession challenging for you. But his team also, they can score.
Yep.
They put up 91 tonight on Milwaukee.
Well, they got off to such a great start, and it was a layup line early in this game, and then the basket got even bigger. And Tay Williams is a special talent. Good luck guarding him.
Yeah.
He and Marquez Warwick tomorrow night is just going to be a fun game to watch. 2 special guys, 2 great players.
There'll be so much fascination tomorrow because you have 2 teams playing in the championship game that do things in similar ways. They both are teams that want to be tenacious defensively. They're both teams that have tremendous attention to detail. And it's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people felt like in handicapping this tournament that they could be potentially the two most dangerous teams while they're going to play each other in the Horizon League Championship games.
You know, we had a feeling that Northern Kentucky would win that game. We just had a feeling about it. Can't really explain it, but just felt like that team, because they had been here so many times, that they were a little hungrier. That was our sense of it.
Easy layup for Jameer Price with 25.7 left. Make sure you stay tuned. Tomorrow, 7 Eastern, we'll be here for the Horizon League title game.
I got a feeling it's going to be a little closer to the two games we saw tonight. Both these teams have a lot of momentum, playing their best basketball of the year.
It is going to be, I think, a much closer game. And if we know anything about the Horizon League, it's probably going to be a game that comes down to the last possession.
Yeah.
As the time ticks away, the Cleveland State Vikings are heading back to the Horizon League Championship for the second time in 3 years. 93-80, Daniel